Police cut down mass murderer. More carnage on Jamaican roads. Ex-JDF Soldier charged with murder. Jamaica reggae boys clash with Honduras tonight. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. 3 people, including a high school student, were killed on Friday morning in a motor vehicle crash along the Greenside Main Road in Trelawney. The two-vehicle collision involved a Suzuki and a Toyota Wish. The deceased have been identified as 31-year-old cabinet maker Hoydeen Flemings, 21-year-old Brandon Gordon, and 14-year-old Tashanti Jones, a student of Pushett High School. And it's reported that about 10:30 a.m., the driver of the Toyota Wish was overtaking a line of traffic when he slammed into the side of the Suzuki Vitara, which was turning right off the Greenside Main Road. The Toyota Wish then ran into a wall, killing all 3 persons on board. The driver of the Suzuki received injuries and was taken to the Falmouth Public General Hospital for treatment. Some 14 persons were killed between Sunday up to Friday in accidents, and 293 persons have died in motor vehicle collisions since the start of the year, compared with 327 for the similar period last year. Meanwhile, the St. Catherine North police are still on the hunt for the main suspect in the murder of a woman in Commodore in Linstead last month. Glendon Bull Amos is also being sought for other crimes in the wider Linstead area. Superintendent Hopton Nicholson, commanding officer for the division, said the police are having difficulty monitoring Commodore, which covers a large area and is heavily vegetated. Superintendent Nicholson said the crimes being committed in the hotspots are being done by people who are well acquainted with that area, and he's imploring residents to assist the police in identifying the perpetrators, even as the police make some headway in catching up with the suspects. Meanwhile, the police have taken an ex-member of the Jamaica Defense Force into custody for questioning in connection with the fatal shooting of a woman on Friday morning. The deceased has been identified as 29-year-old Rochelle Mason, a hairdresser of Denver Crescent in Marvelly in St. Andrew. The police said about 12:50 a.m., Miss Mason was inside a lounge and juice bar along South Odin Avenue when she was confronted by a man who was allegedly her ex-lover. He then dragged her into a restroom where she was fatally shot. Shortly after, an explosion was heard and the man was seen leaving the restroom. A patron went to investigate, raised an alarm, and summoned the police. On arrival of the police, Mason was seen in a sitting position on the floor of the restroom in a pool of blood with what appeared to be a gunshot wound to the mouth. She was transported to hospital where she was pronounced dead. A butcher of Glengough in St. Catherine has been charged with murder and unlawful burial of the dead after he confessed to killing a woman and then burying her in a shallow grave, and he has been identified as 27-year-old Orlando Chin, otherwise called Juki. Chin is charged with the murder of 31-year-old Lisa Gay Cobre of the same community. Reports are that about 2 p.m. on Saturday, September 28, Cobre and Chin were involved in a dispute that became physical. The police said that during the dispute, Chin pushed Cobre, causing her to fall and hit her head, after which she became unresponsive. Efforts from Chin to resuscitate Cobre proved futile as he buried her body in a shallow grave, the police said. Chin turned himself over to the police and confessed to killing Cobre on Monday, October 7. The following day, he reportedly led the police to a location where the body of Cobre was buried, and Chin was subsequently charged on Saturday after a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney, and his court date is now being finalized. The police said a man killed on Friday during a confrontation was one of the prime suspects in the August 11 Cherry Tree Lane massacre in Clarendon. The suspect, Kendrick Campbell, otherwise called Wormy, was shot dead in a confrontation with the police in St. Catherine, and he was being sought by the police prior to the detectives linking him to the killing of 8 people, including a child, in Cherry Tree Lane. Commanding officer for the Area 5 Police, Superintendent Christopher Phillips, said the death of Campbell marks a significant breakthrough in dismantling organized crime in that area, and he said Campbell was linked to the Klansman gang in St. Catherine. 2 men who allegedly doused a man with gasoline and then set him on fire after a verbal dispute at a bar in their community have now been charged with murder. The deceased has been identified as 34-year-old Kimar Simit of Glen Drive in Kingston 8. Charged with Simit's murder are 57-year-old Garnet Dale, otherwise called Lazarus, a security guard, and 42-year-old Kimar Wilson, both of the community. Reports are that about 9 a.m. on Saturday, April 27, Simit and persons from the community had a verbal dispute during which he was allegedly attacked by Dale and Wilson, who doused him with gasoline and then set him ablaze. Simit, upon realizing that he was set on fire, quickly removed his clothing and jumped into a water container in an effort to extinguish the flames, the police said. He then reportedly ran to the police station with severe burns all over his body, and he was assisted to hospital where he was admitted in a serious but stable condition. However, on Tuesday, May 2nd, Simit succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead. Dale and Wilson were then formally charged on Friday, October 11, and their court date is now being finalized. On to sports. Tonight, the Reggae Boys have another big test when they face Honduras for a return match at the office in Kingston. Jamaica is on a roll, having beaten Honduras in their first match and just days ago had a 2-0 win over Nicaragua, proving that this team is ready to go places, as this is the first time in history that Jamaica Reggae Boys has ever beaten two Central American teams in a row. And with this new coach, Jamaica seems to be on the road to the next World Cup. And in schoolboys football, we're going to start with the Costa Cup. Malden High created history by qualifying for the second round for the first time after a 1-all draw with Green Pond. And they needed 1 point to qualify for the second round, and Green Pond needed to win. Green Pond almost did after scoring first, but just could not hang on to the lead. Meanwhile, defending champions Clarendon College, they advanced from Zone H despite losing 2-1 to Denby High, who also made progress along with Central High. Central High, who outscored Lennon High 3-2, took over the lead of Zone H with 19 points. They were followed by Clarendon College on 18 points and Denby High 16, with one game each left to be played today. Frome Technical meet Anchovy High 3-0 to move to 23 points in Zone B, and Russies joined them after a 1-0 win over Green Island. Stets ended their Zone E schedule on a high with a 2-1 win over zone winners Monroe College at Stets Sports Complex to book their spot in the round of 32. Meanwhile, Glenmuir High, who won their first 8 games, were beaten 2-1 by Garvey Maceo High in their Zone I game. Glenmore have therefore lost back-to-back games for the first time in more than 2 seasons. And Westmoreland Pride Manning School won their 8th straight match, hammering Grange Hill 6-0. Gregory Phillips scored 4 goals, while one each came from Keandre Ellis and Zachary Clark. And in other zone games, Black River clapped Little London 5-0. Cornwall College and St. James High game ended 0-0. Herbert Morrison beat Irwin 2-0. Cambridge knocked over Knockalva 5-1. BB Coke was a big winner, slapping a dominant score 10-2 on Lacovia, while Old Harbour beat Kempshill 1-0. And in Manning Cup, Kingston College was ruthless, beating Meadowbrook 14-0. Penwood were 4-1 winners over Cumberland. Campion College was 1-0 winner over Jose Marti. Tivoli Gardens High were 3-0 winners over St. Mary's College. Denham Town were 2-1 winners over Edith Dalton, and Wolmer's Boys and St. Jago played to a 1-all draw. And that's going to be news and sports on your favorite radio. My name is Mikey Mounts. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I gone.